Okay, I don't know how this will turn out, but what I have here is a video that's not playing. Here we go. I don't know how this will turn out, but what I have is my footage from the Sunday race, round 3. Lap 4 is my best lap. This is obviously from the start finish. I just want to talk a little bit first about what I'm doing, because I'm going to upload this video and then I'm just going to watch it back in a month's time, because we have a long time until round 4, and I want to actually have some semblance of an idea of what I'm actually doing on track, because it's fresh in my mind now, but in 4 weeks time it's going to be gone. So I have some notes I've written down and all that jazz, but actually kind of talking through it as I'm looking at it will also be really helpful, I think. While we're waiting to get to lap 4, I'll also just talk a little bit about what I did since round 2 to go from the 126.9, I think it actually was, to the 119.8. So I already talked in a couple of videos. I did the track day after round 2 with Fishtail at Loudon, and I got to ride in the A group with some of the boys from Center Garage, and Steve Paganis had me doing a drill where I basically just, every session I went out there and I tried to hold the throttle as long as possible into turn 1, and if it didn't work, I just took the Moletrap if I got scared. And that was just actually incredibly helpful for getting my brain and eyes accustomed to moving at speed and making decisions at speed, and then stopped me being scared of this part of the track. And if you're not scared of this part of the track, everything else is slower than this part. So it was really, really helpful. And then he and Adam Kells had actually both, at the end of round 2, when I was frustrated with my times, they'd both kind of explained to me the basic physics of racing, and that if you're missing a lot of time, the only way to make it up is in the parts of the track where you're going really fast, because in those bits you cover a lot of distance really quickly. So if you're missing a lot of time, then this part right here that the bike's on, as well as the exit of turn 2 into turn 3 and the home straight, are the 3 places where you can make up the most time really quickly. And that was true. I didn't even really need the data analysis. It's just hey, if you need to drop 3 seconds, then those are the places to do it. Hold the throttle longer, basically. But that's scary, and so I need some practice. So yeah, the track day was really good, just for following faster guys into turn 1 and getting a sense of just telling myself I could hold the thing pinned until at least the 4 board consistently. And I think I was doing somewhere between the 4 and the 3 board by the end of the track day. I think I was trying to say the 3 board, but it was not as consistent as I am in this race here. And even then, I'm not that consistent. So that was really helpful. That took a second and a half off my times consistently. I wasn't trying to race my heart out in that track day. I was just going out doing the same thing every lap, and I was doing 25s by the end of that. Then before round 3, the weekend before, Nick took me to a parking lot in the middle of nowhere with his beat up Ninja 400, and we spent an hour or 2 doing circle drills and donuts, which were really helpful. I actually think the most helpful thing for me was doing first gear U-turns, where the bike is straight up and down, hold the constant throttle, go forward, put your knee down on one side, and then do a U-turn and then pick the bike up. Because the rate at which I lean the motorcycle over, boom, 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 it's supposed to be different when you're good, and for me it was just always the same no matter what. And so just doing that drill actually just helped my brain be okay, you know how far you can lean, boom, just do it, get to that angle immediately and quickly. And so when it wasn't that much time we spent. We spent an hour or 2 there, but a total practice time on the bike was probably only 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. Anyway, so then I did the 2-day school, Eric Wood's advanced penguin school. So I've kind of understood I need to make time up on the straights, right? This is the second one coming out of turn 2. I've understood I need to make time up on the straights. I've gotten radically more comfortable just putting the bike over quickly on its side, literally just from 30-40 minutes of practice. And then I went into the school, and I'm doing this video before I do the data analysis video, because that I was just so ready for everything that Eric covered. I mean, maybe not everything, some of the things. I mean, there's too much information there to fit it all in my brain. But I think the thing that he said immediately on that first day that really resonated with me was like, how did he put it? It was something like everyone who's racing is racing at or close to their own limit, like what feels like the limit. Like everyone's who's like trying to race is racing at the edge, not of the bike but of themselves. And people who listen to that feedback, like, oh, I'm at the edge, won't crash, and people who sort of don't listen to it will crash. But it's sort of his goal was not to give you a bunch of like, okay, accelerate here, lean here, do this, that, and the other on how to go faster. His goal of that first day was just to raise the limit that you are artificially putting on the bike, so that you didn't have to be constantly feel like you needed to push over the edge to go faster, which is how I used to feel. I used to feel like I was so stressed, like, oh, I've got to go faster, I've got to push, and his whole thing was like, no, I just want to raise where that limit is. So by the end of that, mostly by the end of that first day, but certainly by the end of sort of the first two sessions on the second day, I think it was the end of the first day, we'd gone through a bunch of stuff and made changes, or I'd made changes to my body position, how I was holding the handlebars. And it's not even stuff like I didn't know in theory. It was just how to do it and little tiny tweaks. Sam Martin, my coach, was like, hey, you need to move your foot an inch and a half forward because it looks like you're on the ball of the foot, but actually you're not. You're on the part of the foot just behind the ball, but not the middle. Get on the ball of your foot on the inside foot. And it, like, some micro fucking thing like that is crazy. And then the other thing he said was, I'm gripping the tank with both my legs when I'm in the up and down braking zones, right? Which is important because in my head I know I'm about to come up on a straight up and down braking zone. This is where I make up a lot of time, where I need to. And he was saying when I come right here, I'm gripping the tank really hard with both legs to try and take weight off the bars. And then when it comes time to tip in, my inside leg is stuck and it doesn't actually come out. My hips don't come out. And so I look not quite crossed up, but like I'm not actually freeing my upper body up. And it was like, I mean, it's like the smallest little thing, but that and the ball of the foot thing, to Eric's point, took effectively 2 seconds off my lap times alone, maybe more, just from the immediate feel and better, like I'm not actually good enough at this sport to even have the words to describe it, but like Eric's whole thing was about taking weight off the handlebars and holding them really lightly, and then having a sense of that then giving you better feel for what's going on. And like, I've heard these words being said, but they never meant any fucking thing to me. But now I was suddenly able, with these like little body position tweaks, I could literally take my inside hand off the handlebars in sort of, any like right as the braking load let go. And I realized it's okay to have the weight on the bars when the thing's straight up and down. I don't need to be so freaked out about that. It's just as I lean the bike, I got to take it off. And so it's like, okay, right here, yeah, I've got a bunch of weight on the bars. That's cool. And then release, and then it's gone, and I could take the inside hand off. And it's so funny because it's like it's these small little body position tweaks and little small changes, but it I swear, I mean, I feel like I'm safer, or I felt like I was safer this weekend than I was the last weekend. I mean, even if you get rid of the rain factor, just because I could feel through my fingers when it was done turning, when it was done braking. I could feel it being like, and obviously I'm not even close to the limit of this thing, but even this far from the limit, it's like telling me stuff, and I'm like, oh, yeah, it's got plenty of traction here. And then when you go a lap and you actually can feel everywhere on the track that the bike is telling you it's got traction, like the next time around the corner, you're not, because what would happen is I'd be like, okay, I need to send it more into turn one, right? But if I didn't have any feel, I would come doing here at full throttle, right, doing 130 miles an hour, and it's like, it's scary as shit. And so I'm scared. And what happens is I just roll off at the same point, or I'd roll off, 3 inches beyond the point, but I couldn't actually convince myself to move my fucking braking markers back before, even though I knew that was where I could make up time. And I was trying to do it, and my brain just wouldn't let me do it. But now that I had feel, I'd come through this corner and I'd be like, oh yeah, I had plenty of feel there. That felt great. Next time around, I can go a little quicker. And then next time around, when I got to that point, instead of having like the echo of the last lap in my head that was like, oh, that felt like shit and I was terrified, it was like, yeah, the last time I was here at this exact point, at this exact speed, I was chilling. I was sipping Mai Tais on the beach or whatever the fuck. I mean, I was chilling. And so like when that's in the back of my head, I mean, not actually that, but like that level of comfort, it was really easy to see where I could go faster and then gradually try and doing it. So yeah, I don't know, the Steve Paganis coaching, the Adam Kells, like, hey, here's where you should be going faster, and those drills, the Nick Paganis parking lot drills, just on like, I knew that I should be leaning the bike quicker sometimes and slower other times. So that stuff was that gave me like the both the mental and physical foundations for what I wanted to be doing, like where I wanted to be making up time to go faster, basically to make the amateur bump. That gave me all that. And then the 2-day school I had it was just like, it was perfect because like I already knew where I needed to go faster, but I was too scared to do it. And instead of the whole school being like, here's how you go faster, it was just like, hey, here's how we're gonna make you more comfortable on the bike. That was day one for me. And I think not everyone got that out of the school. I think a lot of people maybe just still want to go faster, but I was like, yeah, I just want to feel more comfortable. The little like the literal take your hand off the bars drill. But yeah, it was just fantastic. And then at the end of that 2-day school, because I'm in the advanced class with people who are much quicker than me, Dan Caron was in there with me, and he was nice enough to waste 3 laps of the session following me. And he gave me like he gave me some advice afterwards, or some coaching as well, that was, I don't know if it was like the final key, but it was like the last little drop where he was like, hey, I was behind you right here, right where this bike is right now on screen, and I was right up your ass, and I was like, whatever, it's been 2.5 laps, he's slow, I'm gonna pass him. And you came out of turn 12 and you walked away from me down the home straight. Now, I've got like 30, 40, whatever horsepower on him, but he was like, you walked away from me down the home straight. Then going into one on the brakes, I caught up to you, and 1A, I'm back up on your ass. And as we came round here, we came into turn 2, I thought, oh, he's just going to do it again and walk away from me down to 3, right? Because it's the same thing. Here's a left-hander into a long straight where you get on the gas. And he's like, instead, I was right up your butt the whole time on the gas, and then I passed you into 3 and I was there the whole time. And he was just like looking at me, and he was like, you already can walk away from me out of 12, why can't you do it out of 2? Like the answer is because you're an idiot. Like just do it. And I had all these like psychological answers for him. I was like, oh, it's because there's a, like, look, Dan, when you come out of 2, right, there's a freaking wall at the end of the straight, right? There's a wall there. That's scary. And he was like, what are you talking about? Like, you're not even using your brakes into 3. Like, you're braking early and soft. You're not braking that hard. The drive out of 2 has no bearing on the fact that there's a wall at the end of the straight. And there's even a gap in there now. They put a gap there for you. But and as he was saying that, because I now had spent the previous day getting more comfortable, having feel on the bike, I knew what he was saying. I was like, yeah, as I come out of 2, I have feel. Like, I know when I'm coming around here, I know that when I'm going to be here, that the bike's telling me if it has traction or not, and then I'll know if I'll have direction. And there's nothing, like, the wall at the end there has nothing to do with this section, but for the last 1.5 years it has in my mind. Anyway, he was like, you can do it. And I felt a lot of pride in him telling me that I could do it, and I felt really, like it was like a light bulb moment where he was like, so just fucking do it here too. Because I'd spent that whole track day, right? I'd spent that whole prior track day figuring out how to come out of this corner, and hold it full throttle. And I don't think my exit here is perfect, and I don't think I'm even as close to the wall as I could be, and I'm not holding it as long as I could be. But all those fucking things, right? Just take a look at my fucking data for a second. I'm holding it into 1, okay? Here's ECU throttle in the middle here. This is the only thing you need to look at, right? Right here. I'm holding it. And this is the exit from 12, right? Like, I figured out this stuff, okay? I figured this out. So he's like, you already know how to do it. And because I'd spent a whole day doing it here, doing nothing else, literally just coming down here, and then every time it didn't go right, I just took the Moletrap. He was like, you can already do it. So I was like, yeah, you're right, I can do it. This like psychological bullshit about the wall being there doesn't even matter, because I'm not even braking that hard. I can just brake 10% harder and it won't even matter. And it was right. Like, I braked 20% harder the next lap, the next session, and I parked it. And I was like, okay, yeah, cool. So that was like the final missing piece to take all those seconds off. But I don't know, each one of those people was responsible for, I don't know, somewhere between 1 and 2 seconds of my lap times, and maybe it's all additive. I don't know how you apportion responsibility, but I'm very grateful for all the coaching. Mike Lee's probably responsible as well, just for his endless encouragement / mockery of me not previously getting to full throttle. Every time I come out of turn 10, which is, you can see right here, every time I come out of turn 10, there's this moment right here where I get scared. You can even see right here where the throttle like pauses for a second. And every time this happens, and it happens again right here, I just see Mike Lee like looking at me going, did you actually hold it? And so now I always make sure that I at least touch full lock for a second. So, I'm getting there. But that's to my point on me saying earlier with feel, like, I know that there's another couple tenths of a second right here. And I don't care which lap this is. This is lap, 2? But, come over the bump, boom, right? That's probably right about here where that little pause is. This right here, how far is that, right? We are, look at the track. Where's the track distance? Where did it go? Right here at the bottom. Doesn't it usually say it somewhere on the screen? Doesn't it usually say it somewhere? Do I have to click this? No, distance at the bottom. It's like right here, 1500, 2000. I don't know how to get show top. Anyway, but from here to here where I actually hit full throttle, there's some time there. And then look how much time I spend at full throttle. I get scared, right? I just touch it for Mike, and then I go right back down here, and then I actually roll out here. So it's like, we basically have, you can like draw a little bit here where it's like this bit right here could be full throttle. And there's like the analysis portion of this where you can look at it and be like, you should be full throttle there. But if you don't feel it, I'm not, some people can do it. I'm never going to do it if I don't feel like I can, if I don't feel I have that level of comfort. And what I'm saying is I do. I just did a new PB, but I still do feel like I have that comfort. I still feel like I can go faster, and that feels really good. So, okay. With all that said, let's get into my actual track map, as it were, for next round, so that I know where I'm going and I can listen to this. And I just kind of like yapped at the screen for 10 minutes because I realized that if I did the track map first and then I put it on YouTube where other people can see it, like, I do actually get what Eric's saying. Like, if other people watch it and like, oh, I'm gonna try doing this too, they're probably gonna fucking high side to the moon or do something stupid because they're trying to copy me, but they shouldn't be. They should be trying to develop feel, which is what I should be doing as well. Like, I should be trying to develop the feel of where I can go faster and then just doing it. And so, yeah, this is for me. It's for my use. Don't watch this stuff and copy it if you're going slower than me, and if you're going faster than me, please do watch it and tell me where I'm wrong, where I'm stupid, or where I can go faster, because I will be taking notes and trying to go faster next round. Okay, so here we go. I think this next lap, yeah. This next one is my fastest lap, and let me walk through what I'm thinking. Okay, so it actually starts here, and what I realized is a good drive out of 12 requires good corner speed right here, and it requires corner speed and direction because and like to be at the right RPM so that like you can roll the throttle on even more aggressively than I'm doing, but like you can roll the throttle on and not be scared that you're gonna go like this way, which is where I felt like I was going all last round. Like you want to crest that apex, right? Boom, and have the bike be pointing around here. And I actually think I'm still a little scared of this wall because you see I get a lot of turning done right here. That was a lot of turning I just did to now be pointing. And if you watch some of the faster guys, their line out of 12 looks a little more like this one here. This one, like it kind of curves. Anyway, so to get the fast line out of 12, I need to not right here. 1 second, we're gonna go forward a second. It starts right here, which is why I was just talking about the Mike Lee in your head. You go over the bump, and you need to get this. You need to get the corner speed, and to get the corner speed and everything, it actually all comes back to this area right here. Because if you get this wrong and you're too slow, you don't have enough time coming around 11 to like blip the throttle and get up to speed without the RPMs like weirdly going up and then pulling you in like a strange direction in the corner. So when I come around here, if I look right here, I fuck it up and I get the wrong line. And so what I'm doing is I come around here, I try to have the bike go over the little corner right here in this dark bit of the patch, but anywhere in this area feels good to me. But I want my eyes, I like intentionally drag my eyes to over like here. Basically, like if the midpoint of the track is here, I try to bring my eyes round to the right, which is, you can't hold them there for very long because I'm not looking over here at the road, right? I'm still looking at the track. You can't hold them there for that long because you go quickly, but I want my eyes to be in this area right here just long enough until I feel the bike actually going there. The reason is because, right, so like here I'm already starting to abandon it, right? Like I was looking, because here the light's not good today, but there's this crack here and you can see this squiggle here, and I usually put my eyes like at the end here. As I get to about this area, we got a tip. Now, I would rather my bike be here. So being here is not ideal. The reason is because this corner is really funky, and I think I'm losing some time here. But this part here, if you look at my lean, let's go over here. Unfortunately, this data, I don't have data for the freaking video we're watching, but it's fine. This part here, I'm looking at the blue dot right here. Right, we're about on the right spot because we've rolled off, and this is my gyro. So when we were at like leaning right, and then this is the 0. Look here. So now we're leaning left, and yeah, so we're in the turn. So basically, one of the weird things about this corner is this bit right here. This bit on the lean, because the like here, where's 0 on the gyro? Right. Oh, it's, of course, it's right. It's the x-axis. So like this red line right here is when the bike's straight up and down, and when it's when the blue line here is above that red line, that means I'm leaning to the right, and when it's blue, I'm leaning to the left. So you come around 10, and you're leaning really far right, and then you start taking away lean as you start adding throttle, right? Like, yay, that's great. Then you get in, so, and that's where I'm talking about my eyes being over on the right of the track over here somewhere. This is the world's worst eye. See, this is why I'm not an artist. My eyes are over here on the right, trying to pull my bike over to the right, because you've got to curve in here into this curve. But the weird fucking geometry of this curve is that you have to do more leaning here in this part than you do over here in this part once you're past the cone. So if you look, get rid of these, right? This part right here is not a good place to brake, but this part right here, right until that curb, is a really good place to brake. I'm losing time still here because I'm scared, but in theory, I look here to the right, then when my bike gets over here, I'm looking at this curb and this cone, and what I want to see is that. Because now I see this, right? And in my head, I have as a mental note. So if you watch my round 1 and round 2 videos, I was downshifting before this cone. Now I have as a note, do not downshift until after this cone. And if you downshift, if you wait all the way till back here, that's just like too many things for me to think about. So my ideal downshift zone is somewhere in this little gap right here. And there is a fucking straight bit right here. So this is my like get confidence back, even though I felt like I was going fast zone. So even if I'm coming in really hot here, it's fine. I'm not stressed. Boom. See, the bike just stood up a little bit, right? Stood up, hit the downshift, tap the brakes, right? Now my eyes went from that straight line to the dividing patch. See, there's a bit of dark gray here and a bit of light gray here, right? So now it's I want to basically come in with my bike just on the right hand side of the line, of the dark line, where the dark line meets the left line, and then go an apex over on that cone. So there you go, come in just on that. And if you do that, by the way, look at these lovely tire tracks that just like kind of draw your eye in, right? So you can see I don't really look at this because my eyes are looking at that cone now, trying to make the corner like I'm looking over here. But there is this nice path. Now I'm past that corner and I need to be looking over here. If you look right at the apex, or if I look right at the apex of 11A, my bike often ends up too much to the right of the track and it makes that corner really tight. So as I come out here, it's fucking hard to see in this light, but there is a dark patch of tarmac right here. And that's where my eyes are now, right on the corner of it. So as you come up, you can see it now, but in real life, when you're here, you can see it way earlier than this. This little corner is what I'm looking at for a second. By the time my bike's actually where it is right now on track, I'm looking over here at this apex. Okay, now I'm right. My bike's gonna hopefully come through here. I'm looking at this point right here, and what I want to see, right again, what I want to see is I'm waiting my head to see is this line. Now I'm drawing down the center line of the bike, right? But my actual head is off over on the right or the left, depending on which way the corner is. So like, just keep that in mind. But I want to see the center, because if you start flipping the bike over when you can see this straight line, the fact that I'm already leaning to the right means that the bike will naturally keep moving right at first, then flip, right? If I flip too early before I can see the straight line, then I'll end up running the inside of this curb, which I've done before. A lot of people have done. There's this little dark patch too. I was looking at that before, but now honestly, it's just, I know that this curb and there's a nice line. That's what I'm thinking. Boom, right? And so it's quick, but see how, right, like the bike, how do I put, like the bike swung out like that a little bit because it was still on the line. But now, as we flip the bike over to the left, what's going to happen as I flip to the left here is that the bike, I don't know how to draw a fucking bike, right? But the bike, it has like wheels. That's a wheel. And then as I move oh my God, how do I draw this? I'm a person, right? I'm a person holding on for dear life, and there's a wheel here. Oh my God, this is terrible. But as I flip my body to the left, the wheels will go that way a little bit on the center line. And so, I mean, this is terrible, but look where the bike is right now. And then as you flip left, right, the wheels kicked out a little bit. And so then you make the apex and you're all good. If you come down here, if you come through here really slow, none of that works, by the way. Like nothing works. I don't know. Maybe it does, and I'm just terrible. I mean, I am terrible. I'm not going fast now, but it's really, really unfun and unstable if you try and do any of this when you're going slow, because the handlebars are wobbly, everything feels terrible. Now that doesn't mean rush through here, but it just means if you have the feel and you can feel that you have the grip and the traction, then it's not scary to go through here fast. And none of this is scary. Anyway, then you come down here, boom. Okay. There is 2 red lines here. I look at them as I come out here because this kind of blocks looking at the exit, this like little wall thing. So I look at those 2 lines. I think I should be swooping a little more out just based on how some of the fast guys were doing, but I don't know yet. And so for now I look at those red lines until about here, and now I'm already starting to look down here, and there are some cracks like right along here, and I make sure that I'm to the right hand side of those cracks and drifting towards the wall. I want to be as close to the wall as possible. Okay, we spent all this time, we haven't even started the lap yet. Now, no matter what, right? This is actually now like really relaxing. This used to be a really stressful time, but I know that I'm chilling because I know that if I hold the throttle fully pinned, 100%, and I get the world's best drive out of 12, the best drive I've ever gotten myself, not the world's best, but the best I've ever gotten, and I hold the throttle fully pinned to the 3 board, I know that I do not have to use 100% of my braking ability to make the corner. I have to use somewhere between 50 and 70. I don't, it's around there. So I hold it pinned, pre-turn meaning like just a little turn, and then wait to downshift. I was messing up earlier by like trying to hit double downshifts with the quick shifter, the auto blip or whatever it's called, and it didn't like that, and then I'd miss a shift. Also more stress on the engine and also more engine braking. So brake, hit the 1 downshift, and you're good. Wait, what was the second one? Hold it pinned to 3. Downshift, wait, downshift. Okay, cool. Now, I'm watching on the video, but just calling it out. There's the 3 board. When you make the pre-turn, I aim for the midpoint. There is a dark patch of tarmac right here, and I'm aiming my eyes at the midpoint of that tarmac. Right there, and you can see it all the way back at the 3 board, right? Just halfway exactly on that tarmac. If you come in over that point, there is an orange paint box here. Eric kept calling it pink, and I must be colorblind. It looks orange to me, whatever. And I think I'm a little to the right. My head's off to the left, so I feel like I'm going over it. I could probably have the bike a foot to the left. I just see that out of the peripheral, though. I'm not really looking at it consciously. And then there's this line here, which is actually easier to see. This black line on the ground is easier to see than I think the pink box or the orange box, just because you have, how to put it, I have more time where it's visible and you're not going as fast, even though it's like looks kind of hard to see until you know what it looks like. But like you're going really fast here, so like you can't see the orange box, can't see it. Okay, now you can see it. 3, 2, right? It's done. But that whole time there's this line here, and it's kind of a nice little direction point. If I go over that line, I'm gonna apex too early. So I want to come wide here, and then just touch the end of that little line. I try to pause right at the moment that I go over it. Anyway. Apex right here. Now, ideally, if you apex wrong, the bike ends up pointing at the grass, and this was happening to me all round 1. Round 1, I wasn't done with the turn effectively until the bike was here, and I was actually using this part of the curb right here as a reference point for rolling on my throttle. But you can hear I'm already doing it, and my reference now, as I come around here, 3 board, in, brake, look for that line, okay, I'm outside it, and apex, touch the curb. My reference now is look at that fucking curb right there. Draw a line from me to it, and as soon as you've got that line, you're good to go. You are good. That's where you want to go. You don't want to be over here. You're not trying to make some sweeping curve because there's no drive this way, right? There's no like, oh yeah, if I get out here deep, I can do a big drive into the fucking wall, right? You wanna just boop, get over there. And like if I was good and not bad, my knee would be like touching the curb and the grass out here, but I'm bad, right? And boom. So that curb, because then you want to get over here. Now, I think there's a lot of different lines into this corner. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what other people are doing, but there is a little black spot that's a really handy reference, right? It's so hard to see because of the light, but you can see it really easily right there with your eyes. You can see it when you're on track. There's a black spot just out in the middle of track. Once you've come around there, I personally, I mean, this might be wrong, but this is what I'm doing. If I'm to the left of this spot, I end up coming too close to this curb and pointing at the wall when I want to be accelerating. So what I do is I try to come over this spot, right? Over the spot. And as I know I'm going to be over it, I want to hit the corner here of this dark patch, right? There's a dark patch. And kind of anywhere in this range is good because it depends on my lean, right? So I'm like a little inside. And that, right? Because if I was too far on the left over here, if I was over here, this curb is not gonna be friendly because it hooks right here. It hooks, and so you want to come in on this line so that you can curve with it and get on the gas. Okay, now I'm on the gas already. I trust the tire, exiting. As I come around here, it's hard. Sometimes I have to say it in my head, look at the wall, because I can't see all the way around the corner, and I want to get out to the wall. And I find that if I look here and like try and draw a path without looking at the wall, I don't actually go close enough to the wall. I just say like look at the wall for a second, and my eyes don't actually stay on it for more than a quarter of a second. There's a little smudge here. I don't know what else there'll be in the future, but I look at that little smudge, right? And then we're already looking down the end here, and throttles pinned. And you can, if you don't pin it, it doesn't sound. You can hear. You can stand in turn 3 here and tell. While coming out here pinned, there is something cool that happens right here. All these cones magically line up. They make a little magic line. Look at them. Magic line of cones. That's my reference here, is seeing the magic line. If I don't see the magic line, like if I'm over here, it looks, it doesn't look it's not as confidence inspiring. Once there's a magic line, it's all good. Also, someone ran over the 2 cone, this cone right here, which is my tipping point. And so it's black, so you don't even have to be staring at it to count it, to know it, because you can see it out the corner of your eye, because they're all in a line, right? You've got this line of cones, and then there's all of a sudden you can see this one little black point. So now I'm here. There's a couple different reference points I use into turn 3. This is my tip in, and there's the apex. Now that I'm comfortable and I have feel, I just come in. My eyes are now on this. Here's the black cone, right? All of a sudden you can see it. It just appears out of the line of cones. And there are all these tire tracks here. If I like stare at this part of the wall or this apex, I just found my line wasn't quite right. So I try to like see the line these tracks are all making, if that makes sense. And as I tip in, like I'm looking right here where I want to be. But I'm also imagining like a magical line that kind of goes from where I am and kisses that apex and goes around. Because then when I come around here, I want to touch the throttle. So there's one dark piece of tarmac right here with some sealant on it. And then there's another one right here. I want to get on the gas ideally at the end of this first one and before the end of this one. And when I say get on the gas, it is a very, very gentle thing. I want to go, ooh, and so this is where I was having problems before. Is I would come out here and be nowhere close to this apex, because what I was doing is, if you roll on the gas consistently, when you get here, if you roll on, it pushes you out here. If you just keep rolling on, and you end up like the line, for me, I don't know, it wasn't working. Like, I'd have to add more lean or back out of the throttle, and it was like really fucking me up. And then Eric on the track walk really helped this make a lot of sense to me. And he was like, yeah, what I do, or what you can do, I don't know, but is you roll on to like 2 to 2, 4, 6, 8% throttle, 10%, whatever. And as you come here to this little part of the exit, so as you come here, you pause. You don't back out of it, but you just hold the throttle, and that will naturally tighten your line up. And as your line tightens, you're just waiting to see the exit, right? I'm waiting. And then now I know, right? You can hear it right there. I know I'm gonna exit, right? Now I'm looking at this seam here right now. If I was better, I would use the whole track. So my eyes use this seam. I should be using this white line, but for now, my eyes use this seam, and that's why I don't. Oh, fuck. That's why there's more time for me to gain here. And I can feel it. I can feel that I have more time to gain in the exit of this corner by a lot, and I'm not using the whole track, and my line's a little too tight. Okay, over the hill, hold it pinned. Don't roll out. Sometimes I get a little shake here, it's fine. Hold it pinned. The edge of this curb is a really tempting place for me to roll off. Don't do that. What I'm doing right now is there is a squiggle right here. It's super easy to see. It's hard to see on a video. When in real life, it's so easy to see. And it's right here. Okay, you can see this squiggle right here. That is my current braking marker and my line. Like, I want to hit the squiggle and then tip in. I think I have probably the ability and the room to move my braking marker all the way back here. But for now, it's the squiggle. Okay, we tip in, and then there's this line right here that I kiss the edge of, and that's the one I was looking for. This thick, dark, deep groove. This is like a real sealant groove that's like in there. And I want to have my bike just kiss that far edge of it, right? So we just kiss the far edge. And if you do the squiggle to the far edge of the seam, you'll apex in this area, depending on speed. I'll apex that, whatever. That's where I'm apexing. And I want to be, if everything's going right, I want to be ready and able to get on the throttle before this cone, not after it. Right here. Pushes you out wide. As you come up, already look at this apex and don't stand the bike up. I was like constantly standing the bike up and looking over here at the track with my eyes earlier this season, and instead, maybe pick the bike up but put my body down is what I'm trying to do. Like, as I come around that corner, my like head drops and I let the bike stand up a little bit because I'm rolling on the gas, but I don't want to actually have the overall trajectory of my corner straighten out, because you've got to make this corner. Now, coming around this corner, you can already see this black patch right here. Again, easy to see in real life, not on video. My eyes are at that black patch as soon as I can, and this is the next curb where this orange smudges, and so I'm trying to draw a line for a line through this curb, the patch, and that curb. Flip on the patch, touch that curb. As we come over here, there's a sealant line here, and I want to drift out, swing out to this line, but not past it, and then we're going to turn back around. And the whole time this is happening, if you aren't rolling on the throttle, or at least keeping it constant, right, you are I am giving up time because I know I can do this rolling on the throttle. Right? As you come around here, by the way, I'm also not leaning as much to the right as I could be. I could be a little tighter here because ideally I think I would be coming right down here. But as you come over here, you want to draw a straight line between that curb and this curb down here. I'm already looking at this curb, and then stand the bike up straight, brake. Well, I mean, this is true for all the corners, but I really feel it in 9. If I get the braking wrong here, the front feels really unsettled. So what I want to do is be on the brakes harder while it's straight up and down, but then as I turn, I'm sweeping out past the groove. So I'm going to sweep out here, but trying to hold the lightest little bit of trail braking, just a feather on the front, the whole way around until I feel that my line has tightened back up. And there's not actually a point in the corner because it depends how fast I'm going, and the track's wide enough here that I sometimes end up carrying a lot of speed and just like swinging out wide and waiting to get back on the throttle. There's a little blip, but you can feel your line will start tightening up, especially because I'm already on the brakes to keep the weight on the front, which is what I was saying earlier. As soon as I see that my line is tightening back up and it's going to bring me to the curb, that's when we go to the gas, and that keeps me on. And what I was saying earlier is just by keeping the front, keeping the trail braking on, the weight doesn't pogo back up a little bit, and the bike feels really nice even as you're completely off the handlebars and you could like put a hand down and touch the ground. Okay, then there's a black patch that you can already see right here. I think everyone knows about this patch, but that's what I'm looking at. And I want to hit the patch here and turn right. On this part of the patch is where I'm hitting it. So I want to come over this and exit right on that curb. So then we come around here. There's the bump, unfortunately. So I wait to pass the bump right there. And then this is back to what we started at. So now my eyes are over there. I want the bike's line to kind of exit through the corner here. And my eyes are over here on the right. Go full throttle. Just kiss it. I'm rolling off right now before this road. I'm very certain that I can hold it to at least this road. But it's scary because you can't brake that hard right now. So then I make the turn. Then now I've got the straight line through here. Bit more braking. Then we want to come. Then I'm coming in just to the right of this intersection. Hit the apex. Looking at this bit right up here. This patch. This corner. Flip over. Wait. Okay, now I have the straight shot through. Flip the bike over with the gas. That pushes it over. Flip it. Knee down. And then really put the body weight and the head down on the inside as we exit here. And drive out to that red lines right here. Hug the wall, full throttle, and that's the lap. Okay, that's everything I'm doing and everything I know as of right now for my not particularly fast, but good enough for me and where I am right now. Consistent 20s and the 119.8. Line up the cones. Inside, tip. Oh, see, I overcooked that one, so I had to wait for the throttle. Apex there, come out to the left, bring it back, look for the squiggle, roll off at the squiggle, brake, trail brake in. Overcooked that one a little bit too. My eyes went to these riders. Curb, patch, curb, out to the seam, curb. You can hear I'm not as aggressive on the throttle here. I don't want to crash into these guys. That's a bunch of novices, and I am a novice myself, but there's like a 20-second speed difference, and I'm pretty sure I've already run the time I needed to run. Straight up and down, cross the line of those two, up and down. See, not too early there, and then out here. Anyway, that's all I got, and I will do a deeper dive into the lap data on a follow-up video. Thank you.